needs real talk and real solutions. Here are your hosts, Cali and Donté, ready to dive deep into the art and science of parenting. Let's get started and empower the dad in you.
My mom kept me away from my dad for 26 years. My mom told me that my dad said I was a mistake and kept me away from my father. This been looking for me since I was a kid. I finally talked to my dad. He's a good dude. My mom told me my dad has not paid child support since I was a kid. I finally meet this. He has like envelopes full of proof showing he been paying child support. My mom calls me. What you doing, baby? What's going on? I'm at my dad's house. What you doing at? Didn't I say don't discuss family business? My dad bust through the door and snatched the phone. I was trying to, no. Hello? Put my son back on the phone. No, it's my son too. And my dad loses it. Going in on my mom. And I'm listening to my mom. All that slapping, abuse, and beating up, choking me when I'm on the floor. My mom turned into a 2-year-old little girl when my dad started talking to her. She talked to me like my entire life. He's yelling on the phone. You mad because I left you. And I didn't want to be with you no more. And you kept my son away from me as a weapon. Whenever my mom would get pissed off by my dad, she would say, "We'll never see your son again."
Weaponizing your children. That's what we're talking about today. Weaponizing your children.
Weaponizing your kids. Using human shields as a weapon. Have you experienced this?
Not to this degree. So I have not experienced it to this degree, but
this is a very extreme case.
Yes, I have experienced. So, long story short, my parents split when I was younger.
Okay.
My dad stayed in L.A. We moved to the Bay, so I was raised in the Bay.
Boom, boom, boom,
and
boom. Yeah,
I was supposed to go with my dad every single summer.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There were some summers, and I didn't realize this until I got older. There were some summers where I was supposed to be with my dad, and my mom would purposely send me to Cleveland, Ohio, to go work for my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
At least 2 summers that I know for sure.
Okay.
And then my dad would just have to go and show up to Ohio just to see me.
So he would come get you from Ohio, or he would just go visit you while you were in Ohio?
He would go visit because his family's there too. So both my parents are born in Cleveland. I was born in Cleveland. And
gotcha.
then I left Cleveland when I was really young.
Hold on, brother. I didn't know that you were born in Ohio.
Born in Cleveland, Ohio.
I was born in Columbus, Ohio.
No way.
Yeah, I was.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was born in Columbus, and I've been to Cleveland. My son, actually, when I was in the military, I had to come home because my son had a procedure in Cleveland. So I had to Red Cross it and come back home. But yeah, I've been to Cleveland a couple times. But yeah, I'm an Ohio. I was born in Ohio, bro.
I did not know that. Man has Ohio on his birth certificate, and I didn't know.
Yep, 100%. So, not gonna say I'm very familiar with Ohio. I was only there for maybe the first 2 or 3 years of my life. But I was born right at Grant Hospital.
Man, that's wild.
4:54 p.m.
That is
on
wild.
a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday afternoon. Yes, sir. All right, but anyway, I digress. Go back. You said people's from Cleveland.
So I experienced it, not at this level. And I don't even think that I was, noticed it, so to speak, right?
Got you.
So I just, as a kid, I was like, all right, well, I see my dad in the summers, and that's it. Like,
right.
That's the custody agreement. Until I got kicked out midway through my sophomore year in high school, and then my dad got full custody of me.
Nice.
Yes. But this is wild to hear how, and this is not the first time I'm hearing this, and I'm sure you've heard plenty of stories like this where women will weaponize their children against their exes, not allow their exes to see their children because they're mad at them, because they're holding this built up resentment towards them for whatever reason. In this case, it's because the dad had left the mom and didn't want to be with her anymore, and so now she retaliates by saying, "I'm going to make you pay. You're never going to see your son again."
I feel like I mean, and this is just my opinion. I don't even know if there's even any statistics on this, but I feel like that's the overwhelming majority of why women weaponize their kids is because the guy left them, or he did them dirty, or cheated on them, or something that the woman feels that the man did that scorned her, right, to the point where now she's vindictive. I think that's really the only reason you would use your kids as a weapon, is because you felt like you were attacked in another way.
Right.
You feel me? And so this is your only way to get back, or you feel like this is your only way. And I do feel like some women don't do it purposely. You know what I'm saying? Like consciously, like, yo, I'm going to use my kid as a weapon. I don't think they say that in their mind. But they still they do it.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of them do it. Like I've felt this from, both of my kids' mothers. At times they've done things to where they've held back my children, because of whatever various reasons that they conjured up in their head, and yeah, I mean, there was one time where my wife now, she had to call my son's mother and like, yo, like, what's going on, and
Really?
that was the only way that he would come out for the summer. Like, she really had to do an inner session on my part, because there was no real reason, but it boiled down to some type of text or something like that, to where what happened? I'll tell you exactly what happened. What happened is that it was one year where I didn't get back as much taxes as I got the year before. And taxes is in the springtime.
Yep.
Right? And so since I didn't get that much taxes back, it was, oh, well, he's not coming out there this year.
Right. So because you didn't get what you normally get back in your taxes,
Right.
your children were withheld from you.
Yes.
Bruh.
And so, right. Right. And so it was of course it was a quote unquote misunderstanding when it all came to the light. But she felt like I was withholding money, so she's going to withhold my child. Right. And I'm like, that's not even how that works. Like, I don't have any control over, I had a business at the time, and either it did really well that year or it didn't do so well, right? Because usually when it doesn't do so well, I get more money back in taxes. So I think we did too much, so I didn't get back a big tax return, right? Because we did well. Don't remember, it was a while ago, but that was the case, right? And I was just like, well, it wasn't the same year as it was last year. I sent that in a text. And then, like, the energy shifted, right? And I'm like, yo, when's he coming? When's he coming? Wop. And it was like, and come to find out, like I said, my wife had to intercede, and that's what it was. And I was like, really? Like,
So she admitted to your wife?
Well, yes. Basically, she admitted it like it was, and she didn't admit it. She was saying like she took what I said as me being nasty or something. I don't know how she took it, but either way, she took it as, oh, you're not coming with the money this year, so that's funny to you, or that's, saying. I don't know how she took it, but she took it in a offensive way, right? And all I was simply stating was, it's not going to be the same this year. And I think I was even giving her a heads up, like, hey, the taxes ain't going to be the same like it was last year, or you're not going to get, because I never got my taxes. That's the other thing. She always got my tax returns. You see what I'm saying?
So you were giving her a heads up that, hey,
you're not going to get as much back this year as you got last year.
Right.
From my taxes.
Whoa.
From the business that I do.
And
right?
she was upset that
she wasn't getting a big chunk like she normally does every year because according to the courts, I don't get any of my taxes. They were taking all my tax returns. Like, bro, I think this was the first year, maybe not the first year, but maybe I think I stopped paying 2020 because my son turned 18 in 2020. But before 2020, all of my taxes were going to my child's mother. Like, I never saw none of my tax returns. You feel me?
Man.
You feel me? So it's not like, so I think I was just telling her like, hey, I just did my taxes and you know, it's not gonna be a huge chunk like you got last year and in previous years. So just giving you a heads up, all right? And I know from going down there and seeing, you know, she was using that money. She was using them big chunks to buy some big things. You feel me? So,
Man, you a better man than me.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? That's the court order. Is she was getting my taxes.
Man, I don't know. I would have did something though.
So all that to say,
Would have went back to court.
all that to say, yes, that happens. You know, the vindictiveness, and like I said, I don't feel like, I don't feel like all women do this consciously, right? Like, oh, I'm going to use your kid against you consciously.
Even though they say that, even though they say like, okay, well, you're not going to see your son, or I'm going to.
But she never said that though.
Or I'm going to send your son to Cleveland, and not to L.A. to visit with you. Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. You the therapist. You tell me.
No,
like what's the thought process?
There are some things that are done unconsciously, and there are a whole lot more that are that are done very consciously,
Right.
and thought out, precise,
Right.
you know. And so, I think that what they don't realize is how when you're trying to hurt your ex by doing these things, you are hurting your children 10 times more.
Right.
And
But
and
so,
and 90% of the time you're not hurting your ex. Like,
right. So in going back to that, so you said something interesting to me was that you said that you didn't even notice it when you went to Cleveland. Instead of going to see your dad, you didn't feel anything or you didn't notice it.
it was this, I didn't notice what she was doing on purpose. So,
Well, you didn't notice what she was doing on purpose, but did you notice it in the fact of, because you just said like it hurts your kid. So do you feel like because you went to Cleveland instead of seeing your dad, how did that affect you?
so I believe there's two times. Once I did get to see my dad because he came out there, and another time I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so the time that I didn't is the time that I noticed, like I felt it, you know?
Right.
And it hurts because like I've always looked up to my dad, and like he's my hero, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so in my eyes as a kid, like my dad could do no wrong, and my mom hated that. She hated that because in her eyes, you know, he was the complete opposite of what I felt for him,
Of course.
right?
Of course.
And no, was my dad perfect? Absolutely not. He was not perfect. He had flaws. He made mistakes. And because of that, she wanted him to pay. She held on to this bitterness and resentment for years. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I can remember, this is maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. My dad was over, my mom was visiting, and we were sitting I had made dinner, and she brought up something that happened in their marriage, and was like, you never apologize. And like, my dad's looking, and I'm looking like, wait a minute, you're upset about this still? Like, how old am I now right now? I'm like 42, almost 43.
Right.
You know, I'm a late 30, year old man, and you held on to this for that many years.
Right. Yeah.
That's wild.
It is wild, but it is a thing. And so what do you feel like is the root of that? You know, because we can go on and on. Like, I got stories, you got stories. We just heard a story. My friends got stories. Their friends got stories. Like, this is not an uncommon thing that we're talking about here. So what is the root of this? Like, why do women have this on their record?
They're hurt. So when they get hurt, they sit in it. And I think they sit in it way too long before they seek help, right?
Okay.
They have to, like, don't waste your time and your energy trying to be vindictive and trying to get your get back, okay? Ask for help, seek help from the pain that you're feeling. Like, I'm not saying that women are acting like this for no reason. Like, no, there's usually a really great reason why they are responding this way.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you do not have to respond this way. You do not have to, fight fire with fire, because all you're going to get is fire. Right?
True.
Okay, so if you want to be healed, then you have to take a different route. You have to seek help, and you have to learn how to truly forgive in your heart.
That's tough.
Yes, it is tough.
That's tough.
It is, especially if you've been hurt or if you've been cheated on, and then your ex moves on, and then you see them, you have the kids, and they're living their life.
I think it's even deeper than that, because a lot of the times it's their father issues.
Yeah, that is very true as well.
Like, I think a lot of the times it's their pops wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Their pops wasn't, where he was supposed to be, or he didn't show the love. I think that could be an issue. Now, in my son's mother's case, her dad was there all the time, so she doesn't have that excuse.
Yeah. But it could be different though, because my grandpa and grandma stayed married till my grandma passed away. My grandpa just turned 94.
Right.
So he's always been there. However, it may have been how he treated my mom and her siblings.
Yep.
So it could be that.
Could be that.
Or how he treated my grandmother, and they witnessed it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. But at the end of it, I feel like the women you have to want that healing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to want that forgiveness, or want to give that forgiveness, right? Obviously, when you're coming from a place of forgiveness, all things are open to you at that point, right? Like, and I just want to say that I don't hold any animosity towards my kids' mothers. Thank God that, my wife stepped in for the assist, you know what I'm saying? Because I would have missed having them that whole summer, right? But she stepped in for the assist, and, got things cleared up, and it was just a simple, she didn't feel like she could talk to me, right, about this situation, even though I didn't even know anything was wrong, right? Like, I didn't even know I said anything wrong. I was just giving you a heads up, like, yo, this is what it is this year. It's not what it usually is, right?
Right.
And so I didn't even know she took offense to that. You know what I'm saying? Until I'm like, wait, like, why are you not responding to my text? Like, why are we not, getting these airplane plans going? Like, I'm ready to buy the ticket. Like, what's going on? And I don't hold any animosity. All is forgiven as far as I'm concerned. But having that forgiveness really opens you up to a lot of possibilities.
Right.
Right. But you have to want to give that forgiveness.
Right.
Right.
And it's hard. It's tough. So
It can be.
I mean,
It doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I feel like it most certainly is for in a lot of different situations, right? So like I was saying before, if a woman was hurt by the man, and the man goes on and he's living his life, and he finds someone new, and they're happy, but she hasn't found anybody new, and there's a lot of resentment that gets attached to that. It gets attached to that. It's like, oh, well, why is he not doing her dirty like he did me dirty, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever the situation is. And so all these questions that the woman may have answers to, it gets, it's swirling around in their heads. It's like, okay, was I not good enough for him not to do me dirty? So all these things, they get brought up. And everybody's situation is different, right?
Yeah, everybody's situation is different, but it's also still all the same.
Yeah. But,
and I say that because we're talking about something that has existed. And like I just gave all the examples of, it happened to you, it happened to me, it happened to this person, it happened to that person. I know people who are dealing with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody's situation is different, but it's also the same. It's also the same basic human characteristics that we're facing here. You know what I'm saying? So since it's a basic universal thing that we're talking about, like what is the universal principle to fix it is what I'm trying to get to.
yeah. So, I mean, number one, we can't fix other people. Let's put that out there.
Right.
We can't, right?
Right.
Each individual needs to want to receive the help, get the help, seek for the help, work on themselves. And that just boils down to having an understanding that, okay, I have my own personal issues that I need to work through, so I do not pass them on to my children.
Right.
And that's what happens in situations like this so for instance, in this clip, the mother, for her son's entire life,
right,
whenever she got mad at the dad, would take it out on the son.
Right.
Would talk to the son all different types of way.
Right.
That shouldn't be, talked to, and he experienced her hurt and pain.
Correct.
He had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Nothing. So there has to be some awareness on each individual's part, knowing, awareness of how you're feeling, like what you're experiencing, and then go from there. Because, and not every situation is going to be the same. Not everybody's feelings and emotions will be the same either. So I know people who are just like, you know what, it was our divorce was very cool, and we parted ways, and everything. We're good friends now.
Right.
Like I have friends like, oh yeah, like me and so and so, like, we've been divorced for this many years, and we're great friends now, and
right.
They have new partners, and they're all together, going on dinners and whatever. I'm just like, what?
Going on dinners together.
Yeah, bro. I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like healed people that did the work, people that wanted to get the help, right, and that sought the help. Now, are these people that you're saying that what is the common theme that you're seeing among these type of people who have healthy relationships?
They've gone to therapy. For one. They've gone to therapy.
Yeah.
For one. And it's not all of them, right? Not all of them who have gone to therapy live these these lives with, intertwined with their exes.
Right.
But the ones that have, like, they've gone to therapy, or they've sought some type of help or coaching,
Right.
And they have an awareness of like what they're feeling, their emotions, their hurt, their pain, and how to deal with it.
Right.
Instead of taking it out on others, taking it out on kids, using their kids as weapons, like they have the awareness and being aware of those feelings and emotions will then dictate your intentions.
Got you. So let's switch to the aftermath of this, right? So the aftermath, from what I'm seeing from this clip, is this young man is very frustrated with his mother.
Right.
Right? He's been talked to like a little biatch. You know what I'm saying? That's what
he said. Yeah.
He said his mom was, yelling at him and talking
Beat on
down to
him,
him,
choked him.
Right.
Like,
All of these things have happened to him during his growing up, and he's asking about his dad, like, yo, where Pops at? No, that nigga don't love you. You know what I'm saying? That N-word don't love you. But he actually does. You know what I'm saying?
and he's been paying child support.
And he's been paying child. So she was straight up lying. Like, this is an extreme case, in my opinion. This is an extreme case because this mom is just straight up lying.
Right.
Right. Like she's not being forthcoming at all. Right. She's just she's super hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like she's on a whole nother scale. But the aftermath of that is now we have a grown man who he finally gets to meet his dad. And so everything that he's been taught or told has been a lie.
Right.
Basically. You know what I'm saying? So now he has to unpack this. Now he's giving his mom the side eye. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so now he has to be the adult. He has to be the grown one to work through his own trauma and be forgiving of his mom. Right?
Yeah.
So now we created this whole other issue has been created.
Yep. Triangulation.
That's a great word for it. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Like that's basically what's going on here is that now the aftermath of it, because he's a grown man.
Yeah.
Right? Like my son is a grown man now, right? And so everything that I've done and everything that his mom has done, he saw that. Right? And so he has to make up in his mind, what's true, what to believe, how to believe it, And at some point, I think around high school years, around between that 15 and 17-year-old range, like all my kids, they knew what our personalities were at that point. Right. They knew what their mother's personality was. They knew what my personality was. Right. So when things happen, and I said, like, after my son came to live with me, I said, look, this is what I was trying to do. Right. And what I wanted to do and what me and your mother had agreed to. But then she backed out on me and, this, and that, and that. He was like, oh, that sounds like my mom. Right? Like, I was saying, well, this, and this was supposed to happen, but it didn't, but, we're here now, we're doing this. Oh, yeah, I know that. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like my mom. Like, they know, right? They understand who you are around that age. Probably even before that, but they understand who you are.
Well, the crazy part is I knew when I was 3.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know. And so now, you have to deal with that. Like even some of the stuff that you're still dealing with your mom.
Right.
Like how have you reconciled that as a grown person?
So, how have I tried to reconcile?
How have you tried to reconcile?
Yes, because we are not reconciled.
Right. Well, and when I say reconcile, I mean reconcile within yourself, not necessarily reconcile with your mom.
Oh, well, reconcile within myself. Yeah, that's a tough one too. I know that I have forgiven my mom in my heart.
Have you said it to her?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's been a while since I actually saw her. It's crazy. So I don't have a relationship with my mom. but my ex does.
Okay.
And so my daughter had a dance competition. The last 2 weekends ago.
Okay.
On Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
Mother's Day weekend.
So she was out here?
She was out here.
And didn't even tell you, huh?
No, I mean I saw her,
Right.
and so she came and she said hi, and I said, gave her a head nod. I gave her a head nod.
Giving your mom a head nod is wild.
Yeah.
Bro said I gave her a head nod. That's wild.
But there's a lot. There's a lot.
Hey, I know you got a lot going on. But that's still a wild thing to say.
And then, here's the thing. Like, when you continuously lie to a person about a person and make up all these fake stories about a person. So these are all things that my mom has done.
Right.
About me.
Right.
Then I can choose to not have a relationship with you.
Right.
I can still forgive even as you're continuously doing these things.
Right.
So like the last time I saw her was at a wedding and she
Right.
said all these crazy things about me.
Right.
And so I can confront her about it, or I could just say, you know what? I forgive her in my heart and I'm gonna keep my distance still.
Right.
And so that's what I was doing when I saw her on Mother's Day. It's like, hi, or head nod.
Right.
And then, like, she tried to engage in a conversation.
Did you say Happy Mother's Day?
No.
No Happy Mother's Day?
No. Because I saw her 2 days in a row. I saw her on the Saturday and the Sunday.
Okay.
And, for me, a mother is more than just a person who gave birth to you.
Okay.
Like, a mother is someone who, like, mothers you, nurtures you. Like, even in your adult, like, even as an adult, I still go to my dad and ask for advice. He gives me fatherly wisdom.
Right.
Right? In the same token, moms, like, they'll say, like, well, you'll always be my baby.
Right.
That's because you're always doing something to nurture or care for your children in some type of way.
Right.
Right? And then eventually the tides will turn, and then your children are supposed to take care of you.
Right.
As you get older in your age. And so, with like I like, for instance, like I look at my fiance's mom, right, and she is the mother of all mothers in terms of like caring for both her kids and her husband. I feel like she just need to sit down somewhere and take a break because she's always moving and grooving and just doing stuff for the family.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, she don't tear her kids down if they make a mistake, or if something happens. She don't make lies about her kids for what reason I do not know.
Right.
But yeah, like that's one person's perspective. That's me. That's me speaking, and it could be me being a hurt son.
Right. Right.
So I recognize that. I'm
Right.
aware of that.
Right. So, you said that you have forgiven her in your heart.
Correct.
And so, when the tides turn, and you have to take care of her, how you think you're gonna feel?
That's a great question. I've thought about this.
Have you? And
Yeah.
and the reason why I bring this up before you go there is I have a homeboy currently right now
Okay.
who his mom and him never really got along, all that good stuff.
Right.
And then boom, she had a stroke, and she can't take care of herself.
Right.
And so he's had to basically give up his life, put his life on hold, and move in with her, take care of her, get her to caretakers. And he was talking to me about it the other day, and he was just like, I know for a fact she wouldn't do the same for me. Right? If the roles would have been reversed, like
Right.
she would have stopped her life because she had a career, she was doing all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I know for a fact that she wouldn't have done this for me. But now here I am doing this for my mom. I'm putting my life on hold. Like, I want to go do other things. I want to go, have have a wife, and you know what I'm saying, all the other kind of stuff. But I have to stay close to home because I have to make sure that she gets fed, make sure that the caretaker comes and gives her a bath, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, and I felt for him, and you know, I was just like, you know, you are honoring your mother through this difficult time. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
God will smile upon you. You know what I'm saying? Because you are honoring this principle, whether you know it or not. You know, this is a principle, and you're honoring your mother and father. And so that's why I bring that up when
Yeah.
you said that, because, you know, because of your contentious relationship, and you say you've thought about it, so I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so it's great question because I have thought about it,
Okay.
and I've said, and I think a lot of it, I would probably do the same thing.
Yeah. It's good.
Even more so if she was like I can see her with like developing like dementia, and not knowing me,
Right.
and that would, for me, that would make it even easier.
Easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it usually doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. Like,
It's where it makes it easier
it
for you.
doesn't make it easier at all. But no, yeah, I see myself taking care of her,
Yeah.
which is wild
Right.
to say,
Right.
but yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
I
That's
would do
good,
it.
man. That's good. That's a good heart posture to have. Even though, and that's the Christ posture, right?
Right.
You know, no matter what somebody does to us, our posture has to be the same. Our heart posture, at least, like you said, like you don't have to engage and have to have a full blown relationship
Right.
or whatever, but you can still honor your mother. You can still, you know, show her respect. You know what I'm saying? Just based off the simple fact, just like we had this conversation a few episodes ago about the Dennis Rodman daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like she feels the same way. Like, oh, he wasn't really a father and blah blah. And my point was, doesn't matter. He put you in position to be successful. Now, it might not have been how you wanted it to be, right? Like, of course, you would have wanted your father to be there. Of course, you want your mother to not lie on you. You know what I'm saying? But the simple fact that she gave you birth, she put a roof over your head, she gave you some clothes.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm super grateful and appreciative of all the things that she has done, and I don't take that for granted, and I don't overlook it.
right.
Even the like her toughness, how she was tough. Like a lot of the things, like in this clip that this dude said, like how his mom beat him and choked him. Like I was choked, I was beat. I like there was a point when I was 25, I believe. I remember calling my mom on my lunch break and saying thank you. She was like, "Oh, for what?" I was like, "For beating me." And the reason why I called her was because I was looking on Facebook at the time at some of my friends from high school who got to do whatever they wanted. And some of them were, you know, in jail, had DUIs, or dead for whatever reason, right? I wasn't allowed to do all the things that really none of the things that they were allowed to do.
Right.
She was very strict parent. And I was just thankful, you know, in my adulthood years,
Right.
that's how I was raised.
Right.
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 And I even see some of her in me when I'm parenting as well.
Of course.
And so, like, I am grateful and thankful for those things.
Right.
But what a lot of people don't realize is that, and I am also aware of this as well. Like a lot of, like, a few bad things can outweigh so much of the good. And I try not to let that happen.
I was about to say, if you let it.
If you let it, yeah. I try not to let that happen. So that's why I'm here saying
Right.
that I do actually appreciate a lot of the things that she did do.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But those are all things that she has done in the past. And she is currently still doing negative things. It's
Right.
not like, oh, she did all these terrible things, and that she did terrible things in the past as well.
Right.
And I've forgiven those things.
Right.
And she is doing terrible things in the present. And I am still forgiving those things.
Right.
I am just choosing not to engage in any relationship active relationship with her because of that.
Right. No, I commend you for, having that heart posture, because that's tough.
Yeah.
Right. And like how we're talking about women who have weaponized their kids because of something that the man had previously done.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, and you could, on the reverse side, and talking about the results of that, on the reverse side, I've seen and heard of where children don't let the parents see the grandchildren
Yeah.
because of what the parent had done.
Yeah.
Right? In the previous life or
So
whatever.
That's interesting that you brought that up.
Right. So as a result, like, are there times, obviously she came to your daughter's recital, but that wasn't by you, that was by her.
That was by my ex. And
Right.
if I'm completely honest, if it were up to me, I would not.
Right.
And here's why. Because she is still currently behaving the way she's doing, lying.
Right.
Like, I do not trust her. So we actually do have a rule. Like, I told my ex, like, I understand that for whatever reason, and I think a lot of it has to do with, like,
The vindictiveness that gets you.
Yeah, the vindictiveness,
of course.
1000%, right?
Of course.
But to my exes, like, she says, like, no, I think it's important for them to see their grandma. I'm like, okay, like, if that's what you say, okay. However, I do not want her alone with the kids.
Okay.
Like, I know my mom better than anyone else in this world.
Right.
Better than she knows herself. I know what she's going to say, what she's going to do, because I lived it.
Right.
I lived it.
Right.
And so, we have this rule. If she breaks this rule, because she did by accident one time, I let her have it, and she realized, like, oh, he's not playing.
You let your ex have it.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got you.
Like, he's not playing. Like, oh, he's for real. Like,
Right.
I'm like for real. Like,
Right.
this is a matter of life or death. Like, do you actually love your kids? Because if you did, then you wouldn't leave them alone. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
And so we have that rule. So, like, if it's up to you, like, you want to cater to her and pick her up from the airport and have her around, like, as long as you there, like, that's fine. That's fine. Like,
Right.
like, it's your time. It's your time with the kids. You get to choose that. So,
Right.
but yeah, like,
How do your kids feel about her, the grandmother?
they like her. Like, and I don't think that she'll do anything, like, physically to harm the kids.
Yeah.
I just don't trust what she'll say
Right.
around the kids.
Right.
So I don't trust my kids' emotional and mental well-being around her. I just don't.
Right. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, I don't think that she would physically harm them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of this is about the physical, but it is about how it manifests. Right, the emotional manifests into something physical sometimes,
Right.
and it manifests how they communicate, how they act. Like how you act now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Has been a result of how you've been raised. The vindictiveness, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
of keeping you away, you know what I'm saying, from your kids. So yeah, man, the results are never great, but thank God that you do have a faith basis, you know what I'm saying, to come from, because it could be a lot worse, and I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
Where people are like, nope, I'm not dealing with them at all.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know what I'm
No,
saying?
I mean,
bump my parents.
I
You know what I'm
have
saying?
friends who don't talk to their mom at all, and, like, they won't let their kids, like,
Right.
have a relationship with them, and that's just
is what it is.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. I mean, it could really turn out negative for you as the parent as well. You know what I'm saying? Because once that kid grows up, they know.
Oh, yeah.
Once that kid grows up, they know. So, yeah.
But I'm very open with my kids about, like, they know, obviously they see, like, oh, like,
Right.
Dad doesn't have a
Right.
relationship with Mimi.
Right.
and I don't want to say anything negative, like
Correct.
details
Correct.
about their Mimi
Yeah, of course.
to them. So they just know, like, hey, she did some stuff I don't agree with, and I leave it at that. That's
Right.
it. Like, I don't give them any details, right?
Right.
And they've just been fine with it.
They've been cool with it.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm sure they'll have more questions when.
So
they're
what
old
can we
enough.
learn? We can learn. Obviously, we already know. Don't, male or female, don't use your kids as
As weapons.
a weapon, as a trading chip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just immature. But we do understand that hurt people,
Right.
and want to hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
But as I always say, healed people heal people too. So seek healing.
Yes.
Seek a therapist if you need to. Witherspoon.com. They got you over there. If you need some counseling session.
WitherspoonCounseling.com.
Excuse me, witherspooncounseling.com. If you need some counseling sessions, some therapy sessions, because it's important. It's important that we heal. The devil has done a great job of breaking up our families, and that's really what this stems from. This stems from our families being broken up, and so there's hurt in that.
Yep.
There's hurt in that, and so you got to seek healing. When you're hurt, you got to get healed.
You have to. Otherwise, you're just going to keep living in the same mess that you're living in, having the same feelings that you're feeling.
Yeah, it's the same thing I tell you about your groin. If you keep hooping on that groin without letting it heal,
listen,
then it just re-injures itself. And like a lot of people don't take their emotional hurt and treat it the same way that we do physical hurt. Right?
That is true.
When you have a sprained ankle, when I have a sprained ankle, I had to let it heal the other day. You know what I'm saying? I sprained my ankle.
Did you?
Yeah, I sprained my ankle. I had to let it heal. Like, you sprained your groin, you got to let it heal before you get back out there and hoop again.
Heal 100%, or at least close to 100%, because I did let it heal, but I came back too soon.
Came back too soon.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I learned the hard way.
Right. And the healing process is an ongoing process.
Yep.
Right? Like I've had shoulder injuries, I've had ankle injuries, but I still do all of the process. I still do the ice, the heat, the compression, all of the things to, restore.
And we got to do the same thing with our hearts.
We have to do the same thing with our hearts. We have to do the same thing with our emotions, and it's a process, and it takes intentionality.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't just heal on its own.
Right.
Right? Our bodies do healing, and they say time heals all wounds, but if you don't deal with that, right, it heals improperly.
Right.
Right? Have you ever went to the doctor and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you didn't do anything, so it just healed improperly." Like,
Yep.
it just healed over where it was supposed to be healing, right? So if you're not intentional about your healing, emotional or physical, it's going to heal improperly, and then it can get ripped off really easy.
Preach.
So all that to say, seek healing, be intentional about your healing, and understand that that's where that comes from, is the hurt. And once you understand that you are hurt, then seek the healing, right? Don't just think that it's just going to heal on itself without you doing anything about it, physically or emotionally, and most importantly, emotionally.
Yep.
Because now you're hurting other people. So that's our show for today. We thank y'all for chopping it up and listening in with us over here at Father's Handling Business. That's Donté. I'm Cali. We out for this week. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you found our discussion enlightening and empowering as you navigate the rewarding journey of fatherhood. Don't forget to follow us on socials, join the conversation, and share your own experiences. We're here to support and inspire each other, one episode at a time. Until next time, keep empowering the dad in you.